do is lab work. So the Richard Ditton Learning Lab at the museum is where we do a lot of our lab work. And as paleontologists, one of the things that we have to do when we bring fossils back from the field, we actually have to clean them. We can piece them back together if they're in small pieces or if they're broken. And so we are both cleaning the fossils and putting them back together. And one of the reasons why we do that is because we don't always know what either part of the body that we have or what animal that we have. And so if we can clean those bones off, or maybe teeth or whatever part of the body that we had, then we can better figure out what animals we were looking at. And one of the ways that we do that is we actually take the fossil that we found and we look through books and other papers that other scientists have published and compare and contrast and see what's similar to these animals in these books and what's different. And so we look at the shapes and the sizes of the bones to try and figure out what type of animal it was or what part of the body that it was. So you can figure out if you have part of a camel foot bone, or you might have part of a crocodile's back, or you might have a dinosaur tooth. And so we can figure out all these different things from those shapes and sizes by comparing them. The other type of place that you can do research as a paleontologist is a lot of times paleontologists only do lab work, and that's totally fine. A lot of paleontologists even do lab work mostly with teeny tiny fossils called microfossils, and they're called that because you look at them under the microscope. And so you don't have to do field work to be a paleontologist. The other thing you can do too is a lot of paleontologists only work in museum collections. So one of the things that I do as a collections manager is I help provide access to other researchers to come to our collection to look at some of the fossils that we have for their research projects. And so a lot of paleontologists don't go in the field, and they spend a lot of time in museum collections. A colleague of mine in London does all of his research traveling around the world, going to different museum collections, looking at different elephant and mammoth skulls that they have. So a lot of times people don't do any field work at all. I just happen to do a lot because that's what I like to do. And the last process, a lot of times in research, you share your research with other people at conferences. And so these are big meetings that people have to come together and share their ideas and share their conclusions with each other. And you can get feedback from them. Maybe they know something that you didn't know about that really helps with your research. That happened to me a couple months ago. Someone clued me into a really cool paper that ended up helping me with my research. Other times you get really interesting questions from them that make you kind of go deeper into your conclusions with your papers. And so we present either a presentation where we're in front of a crowd and we have a talk that we give, or you can do a poster where you have a poster with different photographs or maybe graphs or other figures that you make showing the findings that you have. So that's kind of the more written version of your presentation. So those are kind of the two main ways that people present their research to other scientists. And that part's really fun. You get to meet people that maybe you've only read what they wrote. Sometimes you meet totally new people. I've made a lot of friends in my field through conferences. So that's probably one of my favorite parts.